How many times have you found yourself overwhelmed by impulses or reactions that you later deeply regret? Situations in which anger spoke louder, anxiety stopped you, or insecurity made you shut up. The truth is that we have all been there, and no, you are not alone, nor did you fail to feel it. But there is an ancient philosophy that can help you turn this game around: Stoicism. The Stoics taught that we do not control external events, but we can completely control our reactions. This isn't just a pretty ideal. It's a practical skill that transforms lives. From the moment you learn to command your emotions wisely, the world around you loses the power to destabilize you. In this video, you'll learn 7 Stoic psychological tricks that will help you deal with any situation or person while keeping your inner peace intact. It's not about manipulation or feigning indifference. It's about developing a quiet force that commands respect and balance. Each technique I'm going to share here is based on the teachings of great Stoic masters like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius, and can be used by anyone in everyday life, even without previous experience with philosophy. The only thing I ask is, use this knowledge responsibly. Just as the ancients said, power without virtue can turn into poison, but used wisely, it can change your life and positively influence everyone around you. So get ready to write it down, reflect, and apply. Because what you're going to hear today can be the turning point to a firmer mind, a lighter heart, and a presence that naturally earns respect. Let's get started. Trick 1. Position yourself. Where the mind meets peace, not chaos. The Stoics knew that the environment shapes the mind. If you are in a chaotic, noisy, unstable place, your soul will inevitably be pulled into that same state. Therefore, the first Stoic trick is simple but powerful. Whenever possible, physically position yourself in places that help you maintain clarity. Let's imagine a serious conversation, an important meeting, or even an emotional encounter. Avoid facing doors or windows with constant movement. Why? Because the mind, as Epictetus said, is attracted to what is unstable, and where there is distraction, there is no dominance. This small physical adjustment of avoiding being facing the street or sources of stimulus reduces the brain's arousal and puts you in a state of calm presence. The result: you speak better, listen more, and convey confidence. The Stoics valued ataraxia, that is, a state of imperturbability. This starts with small, conscious choices. By controlling your environment, you're not running away from the world. You're creating the ideal conditions to face it with serenity. If you want a conversation to work, for a negotiation to flow well, or for a person to understand you better, offer them this environmental tranquility as well. Position her chair strategically. Protect the moment. That changes everything. Remember, great internal battles are avoided with simple external decisions. Peace begins without, but flourishes within. And that's the first step to living like a true Stoic. Trick 2. Ask a favor of those who despise you. The paradox of connection. It sounds counterintuitive, but the ancient philosophers knew the best way to break the ice with someone who rejects you is to get them to help you. That's right. One of the most powerful psychological tricks was also validated by Benjamin Franklin, and it connects perfectly with Stoic principles. The logic is simple. When you ask a small favor from someone who doesn't like you, you activate a cognitive dissonance in them. Why am I helping someone I don't like? The brain resolves this contradiction by softening the rejection, by creating empathy. This is behavioral psychology with a philosophical soul. The Stoics have always taught not to harbor grudges or feed the ego. When you have the humility to ask for help from those who ignore you, you show greatness. It does not lower itself, it rises. You put the other in a position of usefulness, and with that, you often gain respect. This trick takes courage, but by applying it, you test your own inner strength. It's easy to be polite to those who treat you well, But the true Stoics train their character in precisely the most difficult relationships. There is the battlefield of personal evolution. What if the person doesn't help you? Patience. As Marcus Aurelius said, the best revenge is not to look like the one who hurt you. You go on whole, unshaken, and still plant a seed of doubt in the other. Why didn't he react angrily? This reflection is golden. Use this trick consciously, not to manipulate, but to build bridges where there are walls. And as every Stoic knows, every bridge built is a victory over the ego. Trick 3. True influence is born from a sincere and conscious smile. The smile for the Stoics is not just an emotional reflex, it is an act of self-control and emotional wisdom. Smiling, even in the face of tense situations, can be a powerful way to disarm the environment and demonstrate inner strength. But beware, it's not just any smile. It is the one that comes from the tranquility of those who are not at the mercy of the emotions of others. When you smile serenely, it sends a subtle message. I'm in control of my mind and body. In practice, this generates instant connection. If you're in a group and someone laughs, watch who they look at. If he looks at you while smiling, there is affinity. If you want to increase this bond, smile lightly and return the look. This generates a powerful and genuine energy exchange. The Stoics valued self-control, but they also knew the importance of coexistence. Marco Aurelio said that we were made to cooperate. The sincere smile is a bridge that unites without words. It is a way of doing good without losing firmness. In tense environments, smiling with conscience can be the most disarming tool there is. It conveys peace, maturity, and emotional intelligence. Those who smile truthfully do not need to shout to be heard. Silence already commands respect. So practice that smile, not the forced, but the one that comes from a clear mind and a quiet heart. The world already has too many people with anger in their eyes. Be the one who transmits light, even on cloudy days. Trick 4. The power of silence. Dominate the environment without saying a word. Nothing is more impactful than a person who keeps quiet while everyone loses control. This is one of the greatest principles of Stoicism. The true strength lies in not reacting impulsively. When someone provokes you, yells at you, tries to make you mad, the natural impulse is to respond in the same tone. But in doing so, you surrender your power. The Stoics knew that those who get angry lose, and those who remain silent with dignity dominate. Imagine a heated argument. You take a deep breath, lower your voice, or just shut up. This is not weakness, it is strategy. Silence at this moment reveals absolute control of the situation, and this makes the other reevaluate their posture, even if unconsciously. Silence is also a way of showing that certain attitudes do not deserve a response. Epictetus said, "It is not the facts that disturb us, but the opinion we have about them." To choose silence is to choose not to be contaminated with the anger of the other. And of course, silence is not an omission, it is presence. It is to say with the look and posture what words do not reach. It is the space between action and reaction where wisdom dwells. So the next time someone tries to throw you off track, remember, the Stoic doesn't scream, doesn't despair, doesn't respond on impulse. He breathes, observes, and is silent. And in silence, it shows how loud those who dominate themselves can speak. Trick 5. Deep dialogues in times of peace. Speak when the spirit is nourished. Have you ever noticed how a good conversation happens naturally in a quiet meal? It is not by chance. When we are eating, the body is relaxed and the mind is more receptive. The Stoics, even with a disciplined life, recognized the importance of these moments to build relationships and resolve conflicts. Seneca said that we should speak with purpose and listen with patience. This is almost impossible when we are tense, hungry, or stressed. So if you need to discuss something important with someone, whether it's a decision, a request, or an outburst, do it in quiet moments, especially around a meal. It is not a matter of manipulating the situation, but of choosing wisely the terrain where the conversation will flourish. The ideal environment creates a welcoming atmosphere and reduces the other person's emotional resistance. Eating together is almost an ancestral pact of trust. Take advantage of this natural bond. The Stoic knows that it is not enough to be right. It is necessary to know the right time to speak. Forcing a conversation when the other person is agitated is like trying to plant flowers in the middle of a storm. Wait for the sun. Wait for silence. Expect bread on the table and the lighter soul. In addition, by choosing this most receptive moment, you show consideration and empathy. And as Stoicism teaches, living in harmony with others is an essential part of our rational nature. Speaking at the right time is respecting the other and also yourself. So the next time you need to say something important, don't run. Invite them to a coffee, a lunch, or even a homemade dinner. Because when the body is nourished, the heart listens better. And that's pure Stoicism in action. Trick 6. Words with purpose eliminate doubt from your speech. How many times have you heard someone start a sentence with, "I think," or "maybe it's," and immediately lost interest or confidence in what she said? The way we speak gives away our level of conviction. And the Stoics knew this like no one else. Clarity of speech was one of the pillars of Stoic philosophy. They taught that we should speak with intention, precision, and courage. This does not mean being aggressive or inflexible, but rather being honest with what you think, without beating around the bush or unnecessary insecurities. Words like "I think," "maybe," convey doubt. And where there is doubt, there is no leadership. Imagine Marcus Aurelius leading his army saying, "I think we should attack." The phrase itself sounds absurd, doesn't it? This is because authority is born of certainty, and certainty is born of knowledge. Of course, we don't need to know everything all the time. But when you're at the forefront of a conversation, presentation, or decision, you should be reassured, or at least demonstrate that you're comfortable with what you know. This inspires confidence in others and in yourself. Train yourself to replace hesitation with quiet firmness. Instead of "I think this can work," say "This works because," instead of "Maybe it's better," say "This is the best option and I'll explain why." You'll see the difference in how people perceive you and how you perceive yourself. In short, speak like a Stoic, with clarity, without excess, without unnecessary uncertainty. As Epictetus said, "First learn, then speak. And if it is to speak, speak with meaning." This is strength in the form of words. Trick 7. Steady look at the frown. Command respect without aggression. The gaze is a powerful communication tool, and used wisely, it can be more effective than 1,000 words. The Stoics, although discreet, understood that posture conveys values even before speech. A well-directed gaze can calm, contain, and even disarm uncontrolled emotions. Imagine someone excited, shouting, gesticulating. The natural impulse would be to look into the eyes, challenging, but this can increase the confrontation. The Stoic trick is subtle. Look directly into the person's brow. It is not a gesture of aggression, but of silent firmness. This point between the eyes conveys concentration and control. By focusing there, you avoid direct confrontation, but you also don't lower your head. This creates a different psychological field, where the other perceives that there is presence without provocation. This technique is especially useful in tense moments, discussions, or even in professional settings. It shows that you are attentive, steadfast, and serene. 3 qualities that the Stoics cultivated in all circumstances of life. Marcus Aurelius said that the best response to anger is calm. And few things calm as much as the firm presence of someone who is not shaken, but also does not withdraw. The look in the frown represents exactly that. Posture. Practice this in the mirror, then in everyday conversations. Use it with respect, without arrogance, because the true Stoic never needs to shout to be heard. He just looks wisely. You can learn all of these Stoic techniques and still be tested every day, and that's great. Because, as the ancient masters taught, the world does not exist to please us, but to teach us. Every conflict, challenge, or difficult person is a training opportunity. Stoicism is practical. He doesn't live in books, but in traffic, in line at the bank, in the tense meeting, in the unexpected ending. If you are waiting for life to be perfect to apply philosophy, you are wasting time. Life is already giving you the necessary material. Every time you choose silence over anger, calm over haste, clarity over doubt, you are forging a Stoic mind. It's a constant training. And like any workout, the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. You will make mistakes, of course. He will get excited. He will want to give up. But remember, even Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor, wrote in his diary so as not to forget to control his impulses. We are all under construction. And that's the beauty of the Stoic path. The important thing is to be aware, waking up every day with the purpose of being a little more master of yourself. This is already victory, because while most people are still reacting to everything, you'll be choosing how to respond. So don't shy away from testing. They are your battleground, and also its temple of evolution. As Seneca would say, no wind blows in favor of those who do not know where they are going. But you know, and you'll get there, step by step, choice by choice. We have reached the end of this path, and if there is a truth that sums up everything the Stoics taught, it is simple and powerful. Whoever dominates himself is not dominated by anything else. True freedom is not in controlling the world, but in controlling one's own inner world. Throughout this video, you learned that you don't need to shout to be heard, nor do you need to force yourself to be respected. He learned that silence is a weapon, that the gaze has weight, that words must be chosen with precision. This all forms a modern Stoic, someone who acts with conscience in an increasingly impulsive world. You don't have to be cold or distant. True Stoicism is made of presence, empathy, and clarity. It's not about walking away from life. It's about surrendering to it with courage, without getting lost in the emotional ups and downs that surround us all the time. Whether it's at work, in relationships, or in the small conversations of everyday life, these Stoic techniques will help you keep the peace in the midst of chaos. Not because the world has changed, but because you have changed. And when that happens, everything around it also changes. Save this content, watch it again, reflect on each point, and most importantly, apply, because wisdom only becomes real when it is lived, not just heard. As Epictetus said, it is not speeches that make us good, but deeds. Now go calmly, firmly, and with light in your eyes. The world needs more Stoics, and you've already started down that path.